With middle class scholarship, in this session today, what we will be covering is student eligibility, MCS 2.0 awarding formula, enrollment submission and awarding, payment corrections and reconciliation, community college bachelor programs, and reports. So let's talk about first up, student eligibility. So as you can see, enrollment data should be submitted for students with the FAFSA or DREAM Act by July 2nd, 2024 to be considered for the 24-25 MCS award. Now, MCS is specific to our UCs, CSUs, and current community colleges that have the bachelor programs. Now, as you can see, many of these MCS eligibility criteria mirrors federal and Cal Grant criteria. MCS can be renewed for up to 4 full-time years of attendance if enough eligibility remains, and can be extended for a 5th year for students in approved teacher credentialing programs or mandatory 5th year programs. Now, the lifetime eligibility is determined also just like with Cal Grant, the student's education level when they are awarded. So again, if the student is a freshman when they are initially awarded, again, they can receive up to the full 4 years of eligibility. And again, any student that is in a TCP or the Teaching Credential Program or a mandatory 5-year undergrad program can receive an additional year of eligibility for those 5-year programs. So let's go ahead and talk about what we all love to talk about, which is the awarding formula. The award determination is, as you can see, is the difference between cost of attendance and the sum of the following criteria. Again, any federal, state, institutionally administered scholarships, grants, and fee waivers, any private scholarships, institutionally administered non-need-based scholarships, and emergency aid, but this must be in excess of the coming 2 items: the expected student contribution, which is a fixed number of $8,154, and 33% parent contribution for dependent students whose total income is greater than $100,000. Now, as we crunch all these numbers, we get an amount, and then you will then have the phase-in factor, which is applied to the result of, again, the following calculation. And for this year, that phase-in factor is set at 35%. Now, for our foster youth that will participate with the MCS award, there is one difference, and that difference is they are not subject to that phase-in factor. So again, they would still go through that calculation, but again, there is no phase-in factor that is applied to their award amount. Also, we have implemented a system change to display foster youth flag on the online roster and payment roster file layout. Now, prior to the 23-24 year, the total amount of emergency aid a student received was required to be included in the MCS calculation. But now, if a student receives funds that qualify as emergency aid, such as those seen right here, the emergency housing funds, other basic need emergency assistance, and emergency assistance awarded by an institutional based foster youth support program will not have so much as an impact on the MCS award because only the amount in excess of the student or parent contribution will be factored into the MCS calculation. This is great because this helps students who get emergency aid in addition to the middle class scholarship. Unless emergency aid and private scholarship again exceed that student and parent contribution, a MCS recalculation is not required. Now, this is a visual of the actual formula that we use to again calculate a student's award and where we get these data elements from. Because as you can see, some of these we get from the enrollment file. Some of this information we actually internally have, or again, is part of the awarding formula. We do have a PDF document that you can download from the website here, csac.ca.gov/colleges/MCS, that does have all of the aid programs that are required to be included in the MCS calculation and in which fields in the enrollment file that you need to report that aid. And we have some great modules, and we call them the MCS training module series. And in our first module, you will actually be able to see step-by-step walkthrough of MCS award amount process, and it will give you examples per segment type, so your UCs, CSUs, and community colleges. So next up, we're going to talk about enrollment submission and awarding. Now, as you can see under the MCS window or menu is we have 6 total screens. So we're going to review some of their functions. File upload is how enrollment files and payment files are uploaded. Report download allows you to access the various MCS reports, which we will cover later in our presentation, and we'll give you a breakdown of what those reports are and what you can use them for. Now, our current MCS processing schedule is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights. And as you can see, Monday and Wednesday nights are reserved for payments and corrections only. Friday nights also include processing of enrollment files for new awards. Enrollment files can be added manually or uploaded for bulk upload, and these are processed weekly throughout the academic year. Enrollment records must be submitted for all students who should be considered for the middle class scholarship program. If a student who is initially withdrawn or is found financially ineligible, but after some verification is now found to be eligible, a new enrollment record must be submitted for that student. Subsequent enrollment files may be submitted to process any records not previously submitted or previously determined as ineligible that need to be reevaluated due to new information like cost of attendance or other financial aid awards. Schools should not include enrollment records for eligible applicants that have already been awarded, corrections to eligible applicants that are already awarded, because for corrections to eligible applicants, you should be utilizing the payment and correction file. Submitting duplicate or awarded eligible applicant enrollment files may prevent the processing of new enrollment records. And this is where our module 2 will go into information as such, but also we'll go over things like which data to include or not in an enrollment file, how to upload an enrollment file, and enrollment responses from or the responses from enrollment files that you uploaded to the commission. Next is payments, corrections, and reconciliation. Now, campuses can report annual and term level payment and corrections for middle class using either the online roster or the batch upload process. Now, as you can see with your list of students, to view a student and get into corrections, you will select the eye icon under View. The payment process is still the same as it has been in the previous academic year. There are still term level and annual level corrections, but if you notice that the 3/4 time enrollment can now be paid. Now again, like we were just saying earlier, payment and corrections are processed Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, with results being viewable on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Mondays. Now, the red brackets on your display roster. When you're reviewing your roster, you'll notice that some information appears in black, but other in red brackets. And these numbers can be different, but the information in the red brackets is the most current term level information, and it can be things such as, again, your cost of attendance, federal aid, institutional aid, state aid, self-help gift aid, and Cal Grant. To make a annual or term level change to update a student's award information, again, can be done either through a batch upload file or, as you can see an example of on the screen, the online payment roster functionality. This example is shown to be using updated information directly on the payment roster. Once you go ahead and enter your information and select Save, you will see a pop-up box that will confirm that your transaction has been saved. And the newly reported data will be reflected following the Wednesday or Monday after we complete processing of your correction. When a student has been awarded, the middle class scholarship is available. New information is available that may affect a student's eligibility or award. The campus must follow the correction process to have the student recalculated, their award recalculated. When reporting changes, please follow this hierarchy as you see on the screen. And just as a reminder, when reporting, this is the payment roster file layout. And one thing I want to bring up is, unlike Cal Grant, where we do term advances, MCS does not do the term advances. So MCS funds are dispersed once a campus starts applying payments. Prior to posting payments, schools should verify student attendance and eligibility. Upon reconciliation of the payment file, CSAC submits a claim to the State Controller's Office to process a EFT payment to the campus for disbursement of the MCS award. Payment file submissions and manual postings are accepted throughout the week and processed again on Tuesday and Friday nights. Updates to the records will be available on Wednesdays and Mondays, and the delivery of funds will follow approximately 1 week after the payments are processed. Payment files typically begin in late July and are contingent on budget enactment for the corresponding award year. And this brings me to our Module 3. And again, it gives a deeper dive into payment and corrections. And again, you will learn things such as how to navigate the MCS display roster, how to report a payment, how to make an annual or term level correction, and has some payment and correction scenarios. So payments that are in recertified status occur when a student was previously paid for the term or terms and a correction is applied at the annual or term level. And some of these changes may be things like income, other aid, tuition and fees, and this will cause the award to be recalculated. The new award overrides the current payment with the revised award amount. Now, you do have to resolve this recertification status, and to do so, the school will need to verify the new payment amount using the enrollment status function or the refund adjusted payment function. When you are pulling up the students, and we'll take a look in the next slide how you pull these students up, please note that only the first 120 records will be displayed, because let's say you have 250 students in this status. When you pull this report, it will only show you the first 120. So when you're doing so, let's say you knock out those 120, go back and pull it up, try and pull it up again, because again, if there are more than 120, you will then be presented with the next set of students. So let's take a look at what that looks like. As you can see, you will select the recertify only and search, and then you will be able, or not able, you will be presented with, again, 120 max. And again, if you have more, you will then need to do it again once you clear those first 120. Also, as you can see, you can download this by selecting Download Roster. A payment in recertified status is identified at the term level by displaying recertified payment message under adjustment reason code field in the red font. If the campus does not have any existing payments in this status, the system will generate a message stating no data found. In this current example, the student was originally paid $160 for the fall term. When the award was recalculated, it did so at a lower award amount of $60 for the fall term. The new payment must be now certified or recertified at that $60 amount. So prior to beginning year-end reconciliation, some of the things you want to do, you want to fix all records in that recertified status so that reports get updated. Also, you want to resolve errors on award rejects report and your accept reject report. Then you want to pull the reports that you will need, such as your payment activity report, which shows annual total funds received from the commission, the student reconciliation report, and this provides a list of students who have reconciled payments to date and reflects total middle class scholarship disbursements reported in web grants. Only payments greater than zero will appear on the report. The report shows dollar amounts and the term payments that were received, but does not identify the enrollment level such as FT, HT, or TT. But, however, the percentage of eligibility used with each payment reported is found on the student's award payment history screen on the school roster. So, what are some best practices for reconciliation? First, as I always say, the more often that you reconcile, the better. So, weekly, bi weekly, monthly, again, the shorter time between, you know, reconciling, the better, because again, it only stacks up as time goes on. So the more often you do it, the um, tighter those numbers are. And again, if there is any discrepancies, you can identify them a lot quicker. Also, you want to review any records in recertify status. And again, you want to do this as often as possible. The reconciliation deadline is in September of each processing year. And also, you can refer to the MCS guide and roster layout for specific scenarios. And I'm telling you, it is a great document. And this brings me to Module 4, which again will go into deeper um, it digs deeper into reconciliation and the recertify status. And again, you'll see things such as in this uh, module, the 4 steps to reconciliation, using MCS reports to reconcile, and how to resolve students in recertify status. Next up is our Community College Bachelor Programs, or CCBA. So the MCS awarding and payment process will follow this. Schools identify potentially eligible students and submits a MCS enrollment file. CSAC processes students for the MCS awards and then places them on the MCS-01 roster. Now, it is important that middle class scholarship payments must not be reported on the Cal Grant roster, because this has resulted in negative audit findings for some of the community colleges that administer bachelor programs. The school reviews the roster and reports payment for eligible students. Then the commission sends payment requests to the state controller's office, and EFT funds are then sent. Then the institution will be able to disperse funds on the student's account in accordance with your school's payment policy. So last but definitely not least is our reports. So like reports and Cal Grants, we want to go to our report download. And from here, you will be able to, again, view the different reports that we have. And these reports are produced only once a week and contains information only for those students who had enrollment records, corrections, or payments applied during the week. Now, roster files will generate twice a week, even if no payments or corrections were applied. And here is a list of the different report types. We have our enrollment file report. This one, again, is available in both a data file and report. And when I say report, it is the way I think about it is it's actually presented in a fashion that you can read it, because data files are used for importation, or normally used for importation into a financial aid management system. But again, with our enrollment file, it does list students who are ineligible for an MCS award or were rejected from the enrollment file. We also have our award rejects report. This one identifies students who were rejected due to mismatched data between the enrollment files submitted by the campus and our system. The roster file, this one is only available as a data file, but it lists award information of students currently on the school's roster. We have our accept reject report. This one lists students who had payments or corrections applied during the week. The report is broken down into 3 sections: exception, rejected, and accepted. We have payment activity report. This provides amount of funds dispersed to the school, reconciled payments, and balances. It also contains a year-to-date activity. So this one, it's like the monthly payment activity report with Cal Grant, or what I like to call your bank statement. We also have our student reconciliation report, and this is a summary of reconciled payments that are greater than $0, and payments with an existing adjustment reason code are not listed on this report. All right, before we get you out of here, I'm going to go over just some middle class scholarship resources. So, our website provides middle class scholarship resources such as the MCS handbook, file layouts, and the types of other aid to be reported in fields 16, 17, and 18 on the enrollment file. Now, this is great because, again, your IT folks with your financial aid management system can get support and utilize these layouts to, again, program your system to be able to help format files for upload or to format feedback and output reports. Now, the Middle Class Scholarship Handbook, again, is invaluable. It's an invaluable resource because the biggest part, I believe, or not, I won't say believe, but the biggest thing in there is our payment and correction scenarios. It will knock out, don't hold my feet to the flame on this number, but I'm going to say somewhere around 90-95% of situation or scenarios you may find yourself in. All right, and with that, that brings me to saying thank you so much for being here. But if you have attended either this session or the previous sessions, you will be receiving a survey link. And please go ahead and fill that survey out because it does 2 things. First, it allows you to let us know what you like, what you didn't like, things you may have wanted us to cover, maybe in a little bit more depth. Again, this is your feedback to us. So as we continue with these trainings, we can continue to update and craft these presentations to be exactly what you would like. And second, once you have attended sessions A, B, and C and done the surveys for sessions A, B, and C, you would want to go ahead and submit to us an email at training@csac.ca.gov and let us know what sessions you attended on what dates, because this will allow us to then send you our certificate of completion. And you know you want that because guess what? That's what you want to put up on your wall and show off to all your coworkers. So, again, thank you so much for attending today. I hope you have a great day. And if you're in Northern California, you know what? It's going to be a rainy few days, so hope you guys stay dry. Again, thank you so much, not only for myself, but from my colleagues for attending. And again, hope you have a great day.